What's up YouTube? This is Detroit Borg, and in front of you is a brown box. And it's not just any brown box, it's a brown box containing my new custom-built 13-inch MacBook Pro. This is shipped directly from Apple. Again, it's a custom build. It shipped from Shanghai, took about 5 days to get to me from the date I ordered it, which was Thursday, February 24th, and today is March 1st. So let's go ahead and crack this open. Alright, so here we have the MacBook in a nice plastic wrapper to prevent any water damage from leaking through the box. Now on the back of the box we have the image of the MacBook Pro opened. On the front of the box it's just MacBook Pro with the book closed. 13-inch LED backlit widescreen notebook. On the side we have the Apple logo. On the side we have some other information, including the fact that this is a unibody design. It has the dual-core i5 processor, and this is the Sandy Bridge processor, and it has the Thunderbolt high-speed I/O technology. Now on the other side we have a lot of barcodes, and this is all the model number information, serial number information, part numbers, etc., etc., airport ID, Ethernet ID, Bluetooth ID. These are all the MAC addresses. And this is my specific configuration, MacBook Pro 13.3 inch with 4 gigs of RAM. And the 128 gigabyte SD drive, and you can see 2.3 stands for the 2.3 gigahertz processor, or 2.3 gigahertz i5 processor. Now as you guys know, this is a custom build because I have an SSD instead of an HDD. You can't buy that configuration ready-made in the store, so I had to order this online, and the custom orders don't have those stickers up here that list all the specific hardware and features. Now let's go ahead and break the seal. Flip it around. And there's the MacBook Pro. Now the top cover actually has this nice foam padding in here, so it protects the MacBook Pro during shipping. We have a little tab here, designed by Apple in California. You use that to lift up your MacBook. There you go, it's nicely wrapped in its plastic. We're just going to set this aside and see what else came in the box. So we have the power cable. This is the extension cable. We have the wall wart or power adapter. This is of course the US version, so it has the US standard prong, 120 volt prong. Inside we have the literature and CDs. There should be some stickers and other things in here, so let's see what we have. So we have everything Mac. This is a manual. Very small manual. And then we have everything else. So this contains all the DVDs, the backup DVDs, software license agreement. We have the Apple stickers. And this is the OS X install DVD. This is Snow Leopard. And this is the application install DVD. So this is the iLife suite, and just more paperwork. We also have an Apple branded microfiber cloth. I've never actually opened one of these. I always keep it intact for the next owner. Now let's get to the star of the show, the 13-inch MacBook Pro. As you can see, it's still wrapped in this plastic. In order to open it, it's pretty straightforward. There is a tab right here with these white perforations on the side. So this just guides you to the right place to open this. Of course, you do have to break that seal. Now, all the seal says is important. Please read the software license agreements before using the Apple product. By using the software, you are agreeing to be bound by the terms of the license agreements. Of course, I peel this off slowly because I want to keep the packaging intact. And it's basically like an envelope. It just slides right out. There you go. So, of course, the MacBook Pro has this little finger slot to open the lid. Let's see what's in there. Should be a little protecting film in there. There we go. It's just a little piece of styrofoam that protects the screen and keyboard. Now, before we look at the inside of the MacBook Pro, let's just take a look around the outside. Now on the side we have the power connector. This is the MagSafe power connector, the Gigabyte Ethernet connector, the FireWire 800, the Thunderbolt connector with the new logo. This is both a Thunderbolt and mini DisplayPort connector. We also have two USB 2.0 connectors, an SD card slot, and a headphone jack. Also on the side is a button for the battery status. So if you press this button, you'll see how much charge you have, and they shipped it to me with a full charge, so that's great. And on the opposite side we have the Kensington lock, And the optical drive, this is called the Super Drive. This is both a DVD-ROM, CD-ROM, CD-ROM burner, DVD-ROM burner, etc., etc. Now on the front we have an IR sensor which can be used with the Apple remote control. This is good for Front Row or other media apps. Now the back of the MacBook Pro is one single plate held together with these screws. It's not exactly user accessible, but the user can certainly open this. They don't make it easy because they use these special Torx screws. So you need a special screwdriver in order to open this. We also have these plastic feet. They don't exactly grip a tabletop, they just protect the surface of the MacBook Pro from scratching. Now just like all Macs, we have one long hinge, and along the hinge is the vent. This is the vent inside here, so it allows the MacBook Pro to always breathe through this vent no matter what position the screen is in, whether it's open or closed. In fact, if we look at the motion of the hinge, you can see there is always a space there for the vent to breathe. So no matter how far you open the hinge, there's always that ventilation gap. In fact, if you look at the front of the MacBook, you can see the vents down there. Alright, let's go ahead and open the MacBook Pro. Now the 13-inch has this beautiful edge-to-edge glass display. It is glossy and it's available only in the glossy display. If you want a matte display, you'll have to buy a 15-inch or 17-inch. The 13-inch doesn't have that option available. Now we have a full-size lighted keyboard. Now the keyboard configuration is familiar to every other MacBook Pro user, so we have the eject button, the media control buttons up here. We have the keyboard brightness button, so the F5 and F6 button. The F4 button is the dashboard control, F3 is expose, and then we have the screen brightness control on F1 and F2. And of course we have the full-size glass trackpad. What's great about glass is that this will never wear out like a lot of plastic surface trackpads do. Now taking a quick look at the power adapter, of course here we have the fold-out prongs, which is unique to the US wall adapter, and this pops out. So this accommodates other wall adapters depending on what region of the world you're in, or if you want to connect your extension cable. And we also have these fold out prongs here which allow you to wrap up your cable nice and neatly. Of course we have the MagSafe connector which magnetically connects to the MacBook Pro. We have a light on the top and bottom. Now the great thing about the MagSafe connector is that it attaches very easily. It's magnetic again. All you have to do is sort of hold it near the port and it automatically snaps in. When it needs a charge, it'll turn from green to amber. Looks like, yep, there we go. It detected the battery is depleted, so it's going to charge, and once it's turned green, you're all set. And again, it's called a MagSafe connector because it's magnetically connected and it's safe, so if it accidentally gets yanked, it won't damage or pull your MacBook off the table. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and boot this up for the first time just to see how fast it is. We're going to use English. So there we go. We're going through the welcome screen right now. And you can kind of hear the speakers. It's coming through the keyboard. Alright, I'm in the United States, so let's continue. US. Now on the screen I'm asked if I already own a Mac, and of course I do. Now you have several options. To transfer information from a Mac, you can do so from another Mac. So for example, if I have my iMac, I can connect an Ethernet cable or connect to the network to get to that Mac to transfer the information. I can transfer from another volume on this Mac. So for example, if I plug in a USB drive, I can transfer from a Time Machine backup, which I have quite a few backups of different Macs which I can use, or I cannot transfer my information now and use the migration assistant later, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to connect to my time capsule. Let me enter in my password. Now here I can enter my Apple ID. So basically that's my iTunes account. So I'm going to register my computer. Okay, once I fill out my private information, I can go ahead and give them more information. I'm going to use this primarily at home, and I would say I primarily use it for video and film. So let's go ahead and continue. Now I just need to create my account for this computer, so I set up my username, password, etc. Click continue. And it wants me to take a photo. Alright, so we're going to take a photo of my ugly face. Alrighty, that's good enough. Let's click continue. Alright, that's all there is to it. Now I can click go, and I should boot right into the Mac OS. Man, that was very fast. Didn't have enough time to zoom out. Pretty cool. Now you can see what they put in the dock by default. So we have Finder, the App Store, Dashboard, Mail, Safari. We also have FaceTime, which is free with the purchase of a new Mac, but if you have an older Mac and want to upgrade to the latest FaceTime, you'll have to pay 99 cents in the App Store. We have Address Book, Calendar, it's March 1st. We have Preview, iTunes, Photo Booth, this is iPhoto, iMovie, GarageBand, Time Machine, and we have Settings. And the folders they gave us, let's see what they are. They are Applications, Documents, Downloads, and Trash. And there's nothing on the desktop. Now here you can see the backlighting for the keyboard, so let's go ahead and turn off the light so you can take a look at that. Now the MacBook Pro is the only MacBook that has a backlit keyboard, so if you want this feature, this is really the only place to look. So both the 13-inch, 15-inch, and 17-inch all have backlit keyboards standard. The MacBook Air and the polycarbonate MacBook do not have lighted keyboards. You can control the brightness of the keyboard with the F5 and F6 key. So if you hold the F5 key, it dims all the way down. If you hold the F6 key, it comes all the way up. In fact, if you look at the screen, you can see your status. So let's again press the F6 key, and you can tap down into the setting you want and tap up to full brightness. Now the F1 and F2 keys are your screen brightness controls. So the F1 key is dim and the F2 key is bright. So if we pan out, press the F1 key to dim it, you can see the screen dims as far as you want until you shut it off, or you can bring it all the way up. Now I should point out that both the keyboard and screen respond to an ambient light sensor, which you can configure in settings. But if I turn on a light source, it will modify the brightness of the screen. So usually I'll make it brighter. You can't really detect it on the camera. But if the light source is bright enough, it will also shut off the light to the keyboard like it just did. So let's zoom back on that and I'll show you again what happens. So let's turn the light off. Keyboard comes on, turn it on. There it goes. Takes a little time to turn off, but there you go. Alrighty guys, that's all I wanted to do in this video. I'm going to have more content on the MacBook Pro in the near future. I certainly want to test the speed of the SSD, so you can expect a lot on that. And I'm also going to do a demo of the HD FaceTime camera versus the VGA FaceTime camera on the MacBook Air. So once again guys, this is Detroit Borg. Thanks for watching and see you again soon.